Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hi, students. How is your life? Hopefully, all of you are fine. Stay healthy, stay happy. Let's pray first before studying. Okay, students. Today, we are learning about narrative text. Our learning objective is to identify the generic structure of a narrative text. Tujuan pembelajaran kita adalah mengidentifikasi struktur teks naratif. Have you ever heard the story of Malin Kundang? Perhaps you have ever watched Frozen or Avatar in the movie, right? I'm sure you know those well, aren't you? Those stories are narrative texts. The followings are kinds of narrative texts such as legend, fable, fairy tale, and myth. Berikut ini adalah jenis-jenis teks naratif seperti legenda, cerita peri, mitos, dan fabel. These are the example of fairy tales. Snow White, Rapunzel, Beauty and the Beast. I'm sure you know those stories. And here is the example of myth. Nyi Roro Kidul, Dongeng Dewi Sri. How about the fable? These are the example of fables. Mouse, deer, and crocodile, and grasshopper, rabbit, and turtle. In fable, the animal can speak like human. Now, this is the definition of narrative text. The definition of narrative text is a text that tells about a story with conflict or problem among the characters in it. Di sini kita belajar tentang definisi teks naratif. Definisi teks naratif itu adalah teks yang menceritakan tentang sebuah cerita yang mengandung konflik atau masalah yang berkaitan atau yang berkenaan dengan karakter-karakter atau tokoh-tokoh di dalamnya. Now, let's see the social function or purpose of narrative text. The social function or the purpose of narrative text is to amuse or to entertain reader or listener. Nah, fungsi sosial atau tujuan dari teks naratif itu adalah untuk menghibur pembaca atau pendengar dengan sebuah cerita. Okay, let's go to the next. Nah, here is the generic structure of narrative text. What is the generic structure? The generic structure is how the story is arranged from first to the last one. Apa itu generic structure atau struktur teks? Struktur teks itu adalah bagaimana cara sebuah teks itu disusun dari awal sampai akhir, ya. And the narrative text has three parts. They are orientation, complication, resolution. Di dalam teks naratif memiliki tiga bagian penting, ya, yaitu bagian orientasi, komplikasi atau masalah ya di dalam complication itu ada masalah dan resolusi atau di sini ini merupakan apa namanya problem solving atau penyelesaian masalah. Oke, okay. Next. Oke. Okay. The orientation in this part tells about who, where, and where. Who tells about character of the story, where shows setting or place that the story happened, when shows time that the story happened. Orientation is always in the first paragraph. Usually start with the phrase once upon a time, one day, or long time ago. Di bagian orientasi ini biasanya berisi tentang informasi siapa, di mana, dan kapan. Siapa menceritakan atau menjelaskan tokoh-tokoh atau karakter-karakter dalam cerita tersebut. Kemudian dijelaskan juga di dalam orientasi ini tempat di mana cerita itu terjadi dan waktu cerita itu terjadi. Biasanya orientasi ini ada di bagian awal paragraf sebuah teks naratif. Okay, next part is complication. This part tells about conflict among the characters of the story. The conflict is actually the heart of any narrative text. Di bagian komplikasi ini menceritakan konflik atau masalah yang terjadi di antara tokoh atau pemain yang ada di dalam cerita tersebut. Konflik juga merupakan inti dari teks naratif. The last part is resolution. In this part, tells about the end of the story or closing part. Yeah, the last paragraph closes the story with solving the crisis or problem. However, it can be better or worse. Di bagian resolusi ini biasanya menceritakan penyelesaian masalah dari konflik yang terjadi atau akhir dari cerita. Bagaimana cerita ini akan berakhir, bisa lebih baik atau bisa lebih buruk. Here is the example of narrative text. Toba Lake. Ya, Toba Lake itu Danau Toba, cerita legenda Danau Toba. Here is the story. Yeah. Okay. Next. Let's take a look the story of Toba Lake again. Can you mention which one orientation, complication, or resolution from the story of Toba Lake? Okay. Let's analyze it. Okay, here is the orientation. The orientation of that story. Once upon a time, there was a man who was living in North Sumatra. He lived in a simple hut in a farming field that did some gardening and fishing for his daily life. Ini orientasinya ya. Diawali dengan ungkapan once upon a time. Ya, ini ciri dari orientation. Okay, next. Let's to the next part. These are the complication part. Yeah. Let's see the conflict that the story has. One day, while the man was wishing, he caught a big golden fish in his trap. It was the biggest catch which he ever had in his life. Surprisingly, this fish turned into a beautiful princess. He fell in love with her and proposed her to be his wife. She said, "Yes, but you have to promise not to tell anyone about the secret that I was once a fish. Otherwise, there will be a huge disaster." The men made the deal and they got married, lived happily, and had a daughter. Few years later, this daughter would help bringing lunch to her father out in the fields. One day, his daughter was so hungry and she ate his father's lunch. Unfortunately, he found out and got furious and shouted, "You damn daughter of fish!" The daughter ran home and asked her mother. The mother started crying, felt sad that her husband had broke his promise. This is the complication. Okay. Next, the last part is the resolution. Then she told her daughter to run up the hills because a huge disaster was about to come. When her daughter left, she prayed. Soon there was a big earthquake followed by non-stop pouring rain. The whole area got flooded and became Toba Lake. She turned into a fish again, and the man became the island of Samosir. Okay, you can find Toba Lake in uh, North Sumatra, if I'm not mistaken ya. Uh, ini cerita ini adalah solusi dari masalah yang tadi dan ini akhir ceritanya itu tragis ya karena konfliknya tadi eh, ayahnya marah kemudian melanggar janji dan terjadilah peristiwa yang tragis menjadi bencana ya. Oke. Nah, itu naratif teks. Sekarang kita lihat contoh yang lain. Here is a fable, The Mouse Deer and the Elephant. Oke. The Mouse Deer and the Elephant is a fable. Nah, di bagian ini adalah bagian terakhir yang merupakan tugas yang harus kalian kerjakan. Oke. Please read this fable carefully and then analyze it. Yeah. Your task is to analyze the fable and complete the table given. Which one? The orientation, complication, and resolution from that story. Okay. I think that's all for now. Thank you for attention. See you in the next lesson. Thank you. Bye.